So hello Football Connect family. Today of course we're gonna have one of the best games, if not the best, if not the biggest game that is there in world football when it comes to English football. We're gonna be watching Liverpool versus Manchester United at Anfield. But before that, I wanna talk about yesterday's game. Yes, I wanna talk about the guys who look like they're about to lift the league. So I'm gonna be covering the 10 lessons we learned from Arsenal versus was it Arsenal versus Bournemouth? Yeah, it was Arsenal versus Bournemouth. The game finished 3 goals to 2. One of the craziest games I've ever watched. And I just want to tell you what I thought of the game and what I thought of the Arsenal boys after this. If you have never really respect them, I think that's the time you do. So listen to my lessons and maybe you can edit on the comment section when you feel like I've forgotten some of the most important occasions in the game, which I think are very important to elaborate or maybe to explain. Firstly, element of surprise. That's the only thing that I gotta start with. The element of surprise. This was one game that was really pegged with so many surprises, and one of the biggest surprises that we saw from the game was the Bournemouth surprise that they had set for them, which was to hit them quick on the first counter attack. That's why this goal was scored as maybe one of the fastest goals in the Premier League. Remember, they scored this goal only, and we have to make this very clear. They only scored this goal in 9 seconds 11. 9 seconds 11. That is just crazy. I've never seen that since I started watching football. It was only when maybe Arsenal were now trying to get into that concentration mode and get into the game. So to have a team surprise them in that manner, to show them that, I feel like it was one of the most important and I think one of the most unforgettable moments in world football history, because it almost turned things upside down and almost turns everything upside down, and that was amazing. The second lesson that I learned from this game, which was from the Arsenal, the high line is a problem for Arsenal. The reason why I'm saying that the high line is a problem, of course, they were shocked by the goal that was scored early. They were attacking to a point that the high line was actually in the half of Bournemouth, so it was easy for Bournemouth to hit them on counter attack. So many times Arsenal were gonna be really bad. We almost lost it, and they were gonna really be left with nothing to hold because of the high line that they set. But they had to work on it, and they had to find some of the fastest player, and we saw how important it was, the way they dealt with. And one of the most important lessons I will learn as well, which is the third lesson, is Thomas Partey will forever be an important player for Arsenal. The reason why I say he will forever be important for Arsenal is because, remember, Arsenal were playing with a high line. They had a mission to try to come back to the game that they were losing. Many times whenever their team was hit on the counter attack, only Thomas Partey was the guy who was able to keep up with the speed, at the same time with enough tenacity and the strength and the physique to fight the players of Bournemouth to get them out of the ball. And that is the third lesson. The fourth lesson that I think was very, very important, which I think we need to talk about more, was where it felt like they had no idea what was happening. The long balls for us now, the long crosses. There were a moment from the first half to almost half of the second half where they were doing everything right in terms of attacking, and they kept on hitting long crosses to no avail. They were playing with a team that had long defenders, long midfielders, like tall defenders and tall midfielders, and it was just surprising to me that they kept on trying to do the crosses while they knew that the gunman who was in the center was somebody as short as Trossard or maybe Smith Rowe, who came in after Trossard was injured. So you'll be worried, what exactly is the game plan that Mikel Arteta has for these boys, which in a way it seemed like there was nothing that was happening. And Number 5, I think I've already mentioned it, which is very important. Talk about injuries. One thing that Arsenal fans, I know there's an excitement of what happened, the comeback and everything that they did, but the problem that they're not dealing with injuries, the problem that they're picking up so many injuries now in the last final games, will it have an impact? Will it affect them? Would they have a problem going forward to the end? Or something will actually give, or something that they will actually work on, because I think they picked up so many injuries that now I'm really worried. To a point, I saw a player coming in and going out after just playing in Smith Rowe in the same game. I think there was something that was wrong with the injury. He was coming back from this one, so you might never know. Number 6, Martinelli, not in his best form, and I think this is one thing that people have to strain and talk about a lot. Arsenal look like their best, one of their front three is not at all in form, and sometimes I prefer that maybe you would sit down, but now the problem is that Trossard, the only other guy who can come in and play in that position, is injured. So they have to go through in the progress of him not being fit and hope that he comes back to his level best. All the Gunners are feeling it about this thing, and I hope that they are able to work on it. So that was number 6. Now we go to number 7, the never give up mentality. 2019, 2020, the era where Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool won their first league title after 30 years, they introduced something in the Premier League that people keeps on talking about it even up to now, which is the mentality monster, the fighting monster, the mentality monster, where they never give up, they keep fighting to the very end. We saw it in the game yesterday against Arsenal that there had to be that element of that spirit of never giving up, being mentality masters, which I think now we have to crown them, that they are now the mentality masters of nowadays. The fact that they don't know when they're beaten. They were beaten by 2-0, but they never gave up on their attack. They never gave up on attacking and trying to cause problems, and which now at the very end, paid so well for them, because they won the game in the very end. So you talk about how much this team is never giving up and they keep fighting. And number 8, the energy. I don't want to lie to you. For this young man, with whatever Mikel Arteta is feeding them, it's up there, people. Them people keep fighting to the very end. They never give up. They keep going forward, causing problem and doing as much as they can do to cause problems. The reason why I'm saying the energy is this: they came in and they were able to bring in even substitutes. And this is the interesting thing that people are not paying attention. Even the substitutes are coming in with this mentality to fight and to put their all in the pitch. And that's what we saw with Nelson, coming in and playing like that. And that is just amazing. So I'm really, really respecting what the Gunners are doing. Number 9, and I think that is very important. With the goal that was scored by Ben White, my number 1 is all Arsenal players have scored a goal more than, guess what, Richarlison in the Premier League. So Tottenham signed a player for 60 million from Everton, Richarlison, and you might not believe it, but all the Arsenal players have already scored goals. Every player except of him. Every single player. I'm talking about from the right back, left back, defense, middle, going forward. Every single, even some of the substitutes. In fact, I think all the substitutes have scored a goal in the Premier League more than Richarlison, which now tells me the Tottenham fans have to find a way to deal with this, because I think it's going to affect them in the very end. They have signed somebody for 60 million who's not scoring, and that has to be a worrisome. And the Gunners are loving it, and they're loving it to the very end. Number 10, which I think is the final one, the number 10 lesson we learned from Arsenal versus Bournemouth is Arsenal winning the league. Oh, you might not believe me, Arsenal are winning the league, and now I'm saying it because I think I believe it now. The reason why I'm saying this is because the way Arsenal played in that game, the way they went through to that game, the way they actually went to it and winning it in the last minute, the last kick of the game, that tells you it's only of a team that is going to win the league. We remember seeing the likes of Manchester City, that company go against Leicester City, the likes of Liverpool, all the teams that have won, the fake Manchester United winning it in the last minute. And I think we saw it in this thing that now we have to start to believe that these guys are going to win the league. They look like they're up for it. They're fighting to the very end for it, and it looks like they're hungry for it. And that, for me, moments like this, those clutch moments that are happening in the end, are what defines a team that is going to win the league. So I don't know whether you believe me or not, it's up to you, but trust me, my number 10 lesson from this game is Arsenal should be crowned the England 2022-2023 season champions, because they look like they're gonna do it. Now my bonus one is, if you've watched to the very end, I'm gonna leave you with the bonus one, the bonus level, which is Arsenal are the winners, and I think Mikel Arteta now deserves to be given this. So my number 11, I'm saying Mikel Arteta has proven himself, has verified himself as one of the best Premier League managers in this current era. What happened? He has been doubted for such a long time. This guy has been here for some time trying to prove himself. Nobody believed him, and it looks like he has created a monster of a team, and now people have to try to learn, and they actually have to believe that he is one of the best. So that is my last point, that Mikel Arteta has now been verified as one of the greatest managers in the Premier League, especially if he wins the league with the way this team is playing. I don't know. You might not believe me. Click the like button, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. What did you think about this? If you want to see my reaction to this game, it is on the Football Connect 2. Just search for it, you'll find it. Go check it out. But if you have not done it, please do it. Click the like button, subscribe to the Connect and the Connect 2. I'm out, people. Be blessed. Sam is out. Let's see what happens.